Hey, it's Kurt here with Inspections Over Coffee, and with all of the questions we ever get asked, the most important one is how much can you make? Um, you know, your average home inspector across the country makes like 50, 60 grand. Just a heads up about that. There are companies that do 2 million, 3 million, $9 million a year. So the owner of those companies is going to make more than that. At the time of filming this, our Denver franchise usually does anywhere from like 120 to 160,000 a month. But again, and once you're a business that size, I mean, once you're a business of any size, you have overhead. Now, luckily in the inspection industry, once you have your equipment and once you have your marketing materials, the overhead is rather low, right? You pay for some softwares, pay for your phone line. You've already got a smartphone, most likely. You've already got a computer. I mean, my biggest expense as a owner of a franchise is like my monthly things where I'm spending money to participate in the real estate world. So I'm a preferred partner of an agency with 7,000 realtors. I'm a preferred partner of a small one with like 10 agents. I just went to a happy hour last night. So usually the vendors that are there that are trying to win the realtors over, we split those tabs. So the more of those you could do, the faster you grow, but all that costs money. You got to drive around. So again, but once you're no longer just you doing it and you have a person in the office, you have inspectors out there, the percent you make, like your overall revenue number will be higher, but the percentages that you bring home will be lower. Why is that? Of course, you have to pay the person in the office. You have to pay the inspector for having gone and done the job. I would say that if you're doing standalone, you're the sole operator, you're answering all the phones, you're going to all the marketing events, you're doing all the inspections, you should be bringing home like 60 to 80% of whatever your monthly revenue is. So if you do 10,000 a month, after you pay for gas and whatever other business expenses you have, I would think that you should bring home between like 6 and 8,000 of that 10,000. What we found to be true is that as you grow bigger, the number gets lower. But if you're smart about it and you don't waste money, you're usually going to be around between 25 and 40% profit margin. So if you, I think a fair number was on 1.5 million last year. I think it was somewhere around 450 was like the profit, and that includes the owner taking a salary to help pay for taxes and stuff like that. So that kind of gives you an idea. And again, don't quote me on those numbers. Only go off the numbers in the item 19. But I just want to give you a general idea. Like you will have, if you have 3 people, if you get really big, you have 3 people in an office, and you have 10 preferred partnerships, and you're paying 2 salespeople, and you're paying someone to drive around and do radon, and you're paying your inspectors. Obviously, on a $2 million a year business, you might be paying out 1.2 million to make that happen. But if you bring home 800,000, you're pretty stoked about that. So that, I would, and then the last thing I would say is that you're probably going to get tapped out between 2 and 250,000 if you decide to do everything yourself, because you just can't fit any more jobs in. I mean, you're one person, right? You got to do the actual inspection. So that's a limiter. You might miss out on jobs because you're booked out for a week and they're like, no, I need something faster. You might miss out on jobs because you're doing your walkthrough summary with another client and another client calls to book you. And then when by the time you call them back after you leave the inspection, they've already booked with someone else. So I found that like 200,000 is kind of like where you tap out, where you really either need help with the phones, you need help with performing the inspections, or you need help with sales and marketing. So those are your 3 big jobs. And so you can always hire people, and we have all the training to, when you do hire somebody, to sort of like get them going much, much quicker than you trying to spend time training them. You still will have to work with them and train them. They're your employee, but we have the same training that franchisee goes through to learn all those things. So if you have a salesperson, they go through our sales and marketing, and if you're going to have them do social media training, and they start to handle all that. You know what I'll add here is, if you want to do this on your own, I'll show you how to get licensed, no problem. You're going to spend $20,000 to $50,000 in your first year if you're doing it right at all, because you have to do marketing, websites, flyers, development, logos, preferred partnerships. And if you don't make, usually your first year in a service business, and it doesn't matter what service business it is. I mean, financial advisor, CPA, tax accountant, I mean, even realtor, whatever it is you decide to do, like nobody knows who you are. You don't have any experience. You're going to make mistakes and learn things the hard way. So just remember that your first year, nobody knows who you are. And so if you don't have all of the backing and training of having bought into a franchise, you're going to be having to figure it all on your own, which is fine, but you can totally do that. It's your business. But you might find that even if you brought home 50 grand in your first year doing it all on your own, you're going to have spent a lot of that money and time having to develop everything. And again, if you're spending time on the phone with a graphic designer to work on your logo, that's not time that you're out finding new referral sources to get new clients. So just keep that in mind. Oh, I hope that helps clarify what the potential is in the home inspection industry.